Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals. Welcome back to my channel and to another bullet journal setup video, and I am super excited for this one. So I have several washi tapes and several tombos and yeah, and a stick and a sheet and a couple of sheets of stickers in the like bead Plannerface beads from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use Tilly to save 10%. I don't generally talk about that in this video because I don't generally use too many stickers, but I did this time. So just to go over quickly, the tombos I used are 772, 673, 623, 723, and then for my every other line highlight I'm using 767. I have lots and lots of washi, mostly, in fact all but one are from Simply Gilded, and the last one is from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I am doing Waterfall Dutch doors, or I think some people call them Waterfall Tabs. I don't know, the different names for them. So I am trying that for my first time, and I am obsessed with how this came out. I don't like something about my cover page, and we'll get onto that when we get onto the cover, but I am obsessed with how this came out. And I'd watched a couple of videos and they were like, oh, leave your washi uncut and then you can line it up properly. And then when I cut the pages, started to cut some of the pages down, it just didn't work quite right, and I wasn't getting some of them straight, and it wasn't going very well. So I like messed about with how I tried to do things, and eventually I got there and I'm happy with how it looks. In fact, I'm obsessed with how it looks in the end, to be quite honest. It did take me a little while to work out how to do the tabs or Dutch door, so this first bit actually took me half an hour to get the pages right and stuff, and then I do actually end up remaking two of them at some point during the video, which it just is what it is. So yeah, it's the hits here where I'm like, something has gone wrong because there was too big a gap. I think it's here, and I'm like, so I end up remaking one of them, and I'm like, why is there a gap here? I don't understand what I've done wrong. So this is where I started to mess about with it. So what I did is I had the 8 different washi tapes on a page, and then my cover page was actually like a further Dutch door on top of that, which you'll see shortly. I really love like the combination of these washi tapes. I really love pink and rose gold for February as a colour scheme, and that's what I've kind of done. I've gone friendship bracelets but pink and rose gold, and honestly it is stunning. Honestly, I'm just like watching and rubbing it, and I don't like how many times I've just said honestly. It is really important that you line your washi up, so I realised that I was really struggling to get my washi straight, and then I realised I need to, rather than just lining it up at either side, I needed to like make sure I was following the line of dots. And because I used loads of different sizes of washi, so I used like 1 5mm, 3 10mm, and the rest are 15mm, I think. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, yeah, 3 10mm, 1 5mm, and 4 15mm. I couldn't like cut a certain amount off each page. I had to just work it out from the washi, which is one way of doing it. I did watch Jashi Corinne and maybe Erin's videos about how they do Waterfall Dutch doors as well, to try and help me set this up, but to be honest it ended up being a lot of trial and error, but we're pretty much there with it now. So then I am going to move on to my cover page. To be honest, the inspiration for this theme initially was I knew I wanted to do friendship bracelets, and it was just that sheet of friendship bracelet beads from Plannerface that was my inspiration for that, because then I was like, oh, friendship bracelets for February, it just works perfectly. It's like love basically, so I felt like that was really cool. So here I am now starting on my cover page. So I knew what I wanted to do was to have a cut out Dutch door around the friendship bracelet that was February. So what I did was I sort of cut the page roughly to where I needed it to be, and then I put the beads along where it needed to be. So the cover page actually took me another 13 minutes. I'm not obsessed with how this turned out. I love the Dutch doorness of it. So I'm just cutting the lines of the friendship bracelet, and then I'm going to cut around each of those beads. I tried a few different methods. I ended up doing it with my scissors, and that worked best, but it was not very easy, and it's not the neatest thing in the world, but it looks really effective anyway. If you look closely, you can see bits of white and bits where I've cut off some of the bead, but it looks really cool anyway. So it was worth it. Where I screwed up on this cover page was I added a calendar, and I hate how it looks. Like, I really hate how it looks. I think I posted on Instagram about it, so being like, how can I fix this? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick some paper over that and just repeatedly write the word love over and over again in the Tombow colours that I am using, and then that might look better, but I haven't done that at the point of recording this voiceover. But that was Becca's idea, and I love that idea. But if you've got any other ideas of how I could fix this, let me know in the comments down below. I probably haven't fixed it by the time you're seeing this video. So yeah, I'm just drawing that calendar now, but as I say, I really was not a fan. I kept trying to make it better, and to be honest, it looks best like this before I started messing, but oh well, it is what it is. I keep messing with it throughout the video, but that's that. So that's the cover page for now, and we are going to move on to our first page. Because this was like a tiny Dutch door, I was like, what can I put on this page that doesn't matter that it's really small? So I decided to go with my currently. So I was going to put the title at the top, and then I was looking at this and I was like, ooh, maybe I could just like follow the line of the February, and then there were extra beads spare, so there were I added some hearts. It looked quite messy, and I was not very happy with it at the time, so I did bring in N95 Tombow as well. I forgot to say that at the beginning, for the grey beads, because that matched best. And yeah, then I'm just splitting my page up, but I basically put each of my categories in like my second font for the month, which is this sort of spread out cursive. I don't know how else to describe it. So the things I track currently of are reading, watching, playing, feeling, loving, in the news, eating, drinking, crafting, celebrating, and they are all things that I will fill out on the first of the month. So my currently page took 9.5 minutes. Took a bit longer than some of the other pages in this spread, partly because of that drawing in the beads, but partly because I actually wrote stuff in this spread. I don't always do that in this video because it's like the middle of January at the point I'm filming this video. It is the 19th of January, so it's just like too soon, if you see what I mean. So now I am moving on to the other half of my I'm calling this double page spread, my dashboard. So I did a little sales tracker for my shop. I haven't made very many sales in January. I know like things are really tough for people in the community. Like, planning is a hobby, and I know that people are focused on making sure that they can afford non-hobby things first. So I haven't put too many beads on this, and I will just colour in the beads in a colour when I make a sale, and the other ones will end up grey, and that will make my bracelet. If I need more, I will work that out as we go along. The other thing I did on that page, which I have missed, so sorry, that sales tracker took 4 minutes. Sorry about Google just interrupting us there, just ignore that. It is 9 PM. So the sales tracker took 4 minutes, and then the brain dump, which was the other thing I did on that spread, took 2.5 minutes. My spreads were quite quick, partly because the decoration was all done, and partly because of the stickers of the title. Like, this is a big thing I've realised, that like having those stickers was a big deal. So all I did for the brain dump was to do my title, which all of my titles are the friendship bracelets, and then I just did an every other line highlight. The next page was my monthly spread, which is what you're watching at the moment. So I did this over 2 pages because I knew one like page that I had wasn't going to be enough, and the monthly took me approximately 9 minutes. When I was drawing them, I didn't love the friendship bracelets again at the top that I do underneath the Feb monthly title, but actually I really like them in retrospect, so that's good. I do actually go and fill in this page a bit more later in the video, but I don't do it at this point. So yeah, and I actually quite like having my weekends highlighted. When I did it last month, I was like, oh, this is really messy, I don't like it. But actually, I do really like it in the end. So there's that. Moving on, we are now moving on to my mood tracker. And I have a slight problem with this in that I think I did it the wrong way up based on the fact that all of my washi is the other way in the planner. This is like at 180 degrees to the washi direction, and I'm like, I don't love this. But it's fine because it doesn't really matter, because essentially what I've done for my mood tracker is one very long friendship bracelet with the word mood in the middle. And what I will do is I will colour in a bead based on how I'm feeling every single day of the month. And I just think that will be really cute and pretty, and yeah, it'll be a nice little way of telling. And my colours are a bit more varied than my January colours. We have 2 purples and 2 pinks, and they are quite different, and the purples like positive and the pinks are negative, so that will be quite easy to see, but like strong and weak positive and strong and weak negative is basically the idea. What I've done is I've outlined the beads in a grey pencil and in the grey Tombow, so that I know where I need to colour in and that there were enough beads. I actually ended up doing a little wiggle at the end, at either end, but that actually worked really well, and I actually really like how this came together in the end, other than I wish I'd done it at 180 degrees on the page. But oh well. You'll see when it goes back in the planner like it's the opposite way to the washi, but that's fine. I still think it's really pretty. I debated doing different emotions like happy, sad, anxious, I don't know, stressed, but I decided that I wanted like a gradient instead. I actually have a year in pixels dedicated to mood in that way. I then accidentally just miss out 2 pages, which I won't realise for some time in the video, but oh well, we'll come back to those later. So I actually then move on to my self-compassion page. So this is actually something that my care coordinator has challenged me to do, which is basically write one positive thing about myself every single day related to something that happened that day. So I've basically got a line a day, and I am doing every other line highlights and highlighting the number as well, just so that it's easier to read and write on it. I do love an every other line highlight. I think it makes pages look prettier. It brings in some of the colour, even if it's a pale version. I did have 2 pale pinks, but they weren't like my favourite. What I haven't said was my mood tracker took about 12 minutes and the self-compassion page took about 6 minutes. Moving on to the next page though, we are going to do a goal plan, and I'm telling you now, I do not like my friendship bracelets on this page, basically because I hadn't liked them in the other spreads. I decided to try doing the thick black line through all of the beads, and it looked awful, and then I ended up outlining them, and that kind of made it look a bit better, but it was just a mistake. I should have, yeah. Basically my goal plan is, in my goal planner, after you've made your action list for the month, you then go on and schedule where things are going to happen, and this is basically bringing that into my bullet journal so that I can see it every day. So when I set up, either when I set my weekly or my daily, I can go to this page and be like, these are the things I need to do for my goals this day. Because it's February, I just do 4 weeks, and I'm trying I'm doing cyclical planning in some ways this month. Still my habit trackers and stuff are in months, but things like my goal plan is in 4 weeks, because that's just how my brain works best. So this goal plan runs from the 3rd of February till the 2nd of March. So yeah, that's kind of, so I'm doing all the decoration first, and then I'm going to draw in the calendar. It is just a 2 centimetre by 2 centimetre calendar, which with 4 days on the right, so Thursday to Sunday on the right and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the left. I would prefer generally to have 4 days on the left page and 3 on the right, but swings and roundabouts, because of how the Waterfall tabs work, that's just how this fit. Basically my order of pages this month is based on how much space I thought they needed and whether I could make it work on the page. So yeah, that's why this page, it's really random order in some ways. The next page after this would have made more sense here, but I know I need more space than what there is otherwise, so it's just gonna have to work, okay? I am still got quite a lot of this spread to do. So this spread actually took me 24 minutes. This was probably the longest. Oh no, so the Waterfall tabs were the longest part of this setup. However, this is the second longest by quite a lot as well. Like, no other page took more than like 13 minutes, I think. 12-13 minutes. This took 24. So it was definitely one of the longest spreads to set up. That being said, there are spreads that would have taken longer to set up, but I would need to have done my goal setting. But as I've said, we still got like 12 days of January left, so I don't want to just write off those 12 days and work out all my goal stuff now. I would prefer to do my goal stuff in the last few days of the month so that I can actually know what I achieved and what's still left to do. So there is the goal plan all finished up. I did pull some washi in because there was so much space on this page. So moving on, we are now doing my silver lining spread. This is another thing that, like, I don't know where this came from. It could also be called glimmers, but basically I try and think of 3 positive things every single day that have happened or that I've done or whatever, and write down those silver linings. My name for this has come from my previous bullet journals. I didn't realise that I'd done this previously, but me and Sophie used to share similar things and we used to call them our glimmer. So what I've just done is in every other line highlight. I haven't dated anything other than the first. How I've been doing it in January is I've been writing my 3 things and then just putting in the next date in a coloured pen. So that's what I'm going to do. And that was a really quick spread to set up. It took 6.5 minutes, just because it was a double page spread basically. Moving on to my habit tracker. So how I like to do my habit tracker, my habit tracker took 5 minutes. How I like to do my habit tracker is in a calendar format, and again this is in that 3rd of February to the 2nd of March setup. I would prefer my habit tracker to match with my goals because my habits are part of my goals generally. So I can track up to 9 habits in this, and basically each square is a day, but then each tiny square in those squares is a habit that day. So not only can you see links in what days you might do certain habits or might skip certain habits, but you can also see if there was a bad day or like there's a reason you missed loads of habits one day or something like that. So that's that spread there, and then the left hand side is just space for a little key, and I did a little friendship bracelet for the key as well. I don't love my outlining of the box, but it's a bit thick, but oh well. Whilst I talked about that, I actually did 2 spreads which both took me 2 minutes, which were my action steps and memories pages. So both of these, so my action steps will be filled in far more than it currently is when I get closer to the month, when I've set my actions for my goals. This is where I like track how I've actually done. So the calendar is there to like say this is the days you should do things, and this is to say this is what you've got done so far and this is what you haven't. And then the memories literally just has its title because I will do a doodle and some lettering for any memories that I want to track. The spread I am doing now is a new spread that is for my blood sugars. During the last month I have been diagnosed with gestational diabetes. I made this spread in my January setup after the fact, like basically the night that I got diagnosed I made it. It's basically to be able to write down my blood sugars the 4 times a day that I have to measure them, which is before breakfast, an hour after breakfast, an hour after lunch, and an hour after dinner, and then there is just a little space for notes. So that is this table. The one I took for January, I took for my appointment, and they were like, this is gorgeous, you should like sell this. And I was like, thanks. This one isn't as gorgeous, I don't think, but I do think it's still really functional and really pretty. So yeah. Then that blood sugar page took me 5 minutes and 40 seconds to set up. Then we are on to my month in review, which should be the last page, but as I said, I forgot about 2 pages at some point during this video. So this is my February review page. What I'm doing at the moment is just putting the title in. I didn't centre this one, and then I regretted that decision because I had to move everything up. So basically I split this page in half vertically, and on one column I have wins, goals, and next. I wrote next week. It's meant to be next month. I'm just ignoring the fact it says week, not month. We're just going with it, okay? And on the right hand side we have 4 sections, which is lessons learned, mood, habits, and budget. And basically near the end of the month I will fill this in. I haven't filled in my January one yet, because the month isn't over. But closer to the end of the month, I will like make a comment about how I've done with my mood, my habits, my budget, and then think about wins and goals, how I've got on with my goals and lessons I've learned this month. I can't remember when I do it. I think I do it at a really random time, but I actually put a strip of washi on the next page. And the reason I do this is because I might take that last page out and put it in my weekly spreads to be able to track my blood sugars on the week. So yeah, and that month in review took me 10 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm now filling in some odd bits and pieces. So like I'm filling in my monthly and just doing some finishing off little bits. So you can see me looking through my calendar to add stuff. I used my future log at first, and then I checked through my calendar to see if anything new has been added since my future log. And at some point in the not too distant future, I will realise that I skipped out 2 pages, which were meant to be my sleep and steps tracker. And I saw Natalie of Raw Plans do her step tracker as like a bar graph going along to like how soon, like how many steps she'd done, and I loved that idea so much. And so I decided to switch both my sleep and my step tracker to a bar graph of how many hours that I got or how many thousand steps I did. So I'm really excited for this. The last couple of months I've been tracking my sleep in like times to see if there was any like correlation between the times I slept and how tired I felt. There isn't so far. So I now want to have a little look at it between like hours slept. So both of these go from 0 to 10. So from no hours sleep to 10 hours sleep. I never get more than 10 hours sleep. And the step is the same. It's from no steps to 10,000 steps. These 2 spreads are practically identical other than the title at the moment, and they both took about 2 minutes to set, 3 minutes-ish, 3.5 minutes to set up. I do like February because it's nice and short, which gives you a bit more decorating space for things. I don't think I could have done this waterfall washi waterfall Dutch tour in different months, but I really love how it comes out, so I might have to think about how I can use it in other months. So now I'm just going to do a final flip through of all of the pages. I'm obsessed with how this came together. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like my theme? Do you like the colours and the washi I chose? Will you be trying a waterfall Dutch door at any point? Honestly, I'm so excited to get into these pages, but I've still got 12 days of January left, but that's fine. Comment like down below, all that kind of jazz. Oh, here's where I had that washi tape, told you it was a really random time. Comment like down below, all that kind of jazz. I am excited for you guys to see this video, because I love this setup. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Leave me a, is there a bead emoji? Leave me a bracelet or a bead emoji if you got this far. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!